I stared at my bank account balance in disbelief, the number zero burning into my retinas like a brand. My hands trembled as I refreshed the page again and again, hoping it was just a glitch. But the truth was there in black and white. My entire savings, gone. My name is Denise, and until yesterday, I was just another cybersecurity consultant living a comfortable life in Seattle. Now I'm the victim of the last person I ever expected to betray me, my brother-in-law. "What do you mean it was an investment opportunity?" I demanded, my voice echoing through Peyton's sleek startup office. "You stole from me!" He leaned back in his ergonomic chair, that insufferable smirk playing across his face. "Borrowed, Denise. I borrowed the money. And when SecureFlow takes off, you'll thank me. I'm talking 10 times return, minimum." "You hacked my account," I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. "That's a federal crime." "Such dramatic language." He waved his hand dismissively. "I prefer to think of it as family helping family. You're my sister-in-law, after all. We're practically partners now." "Partners?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Partners ask permission, Peyton. Partners sign contracts. They don't steal in the middle of the night like common thieves." His smile faltered for just a second. "Look, I needed seed money fast. The opportunity was too good to pass up. You've got what, a dozen clients? I'm building something that could change the entire financial security landscape." "Return my money," I said. "Now." "It's already invested." He stood up, straightening his designer jacket. "But I'll tell you what. I'll cut you in for 15% of the profits. That's more than generous." I stepped closer, close enough to smell his overpriced cologne. "You have no idea what you've just started." "Are you threatening me?" He chuckled. "Come on, Denise. What would Harper think about her big sister making threats?" My sister's name in his mouth made my blood boil, but I forced myself to smile. "No threats, Peyton. Just a promise. This isn't over." I turned and walked out, my heels clicking against the polished concrete floor. Behind me, I heard him call out, "Don't forget about that 15%. In the elevator, I caught my reflection in the mirrored walls. I looked calm, collected even. But inside, something had shifted. Peyton thought he was untouchable, protected by his charm and my sister's love. He thought wrong. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number I hadn't used in months. "Dan, it's Denise. Remember that favor you owe me? I need your help with something delicate." The elevator doors opened to the lobby, and I stepped out into the bright morning sun. Peyton had no idea, but he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life. I should have seen this coming," I told Dan over coffee at our usual spot. "Remember last Thanksgiving? He spent the whole dinner talking about his revolutionary security protocols." Dan nodded, his fingers flying over his laptop keyboard. "The same protocols he used to bypass your account security. Pretty ironic." I thought back to that dinner, how Peyton had cornered me in the kitchen while I was doing dishes. "Your expertise would be invaluable to us," he'd said, all smooth talk and practiced charm. When I declined, something dark had flickered behind his eyes. "Got it," Dan announced, turning his laptop toward me. "The transfer records. He bounced it through 3 different shell companies before it landed in SecureFlow's account." "Classic Peyton," I muttered, always covering his tracks. My phone buzzed. Harper calling for the 3rd time today. I sent it to voicemail. "You can't avoid her forever," Dan said gently. "Watch me. I can't face her right now. Not without—" "Denise?" a familiar voice called out. I turned to see Ingrid, my old mentor, approaching our table. Her silver hair was pulled back in her signature tight bun, her expression concerned. "Dan called me," she said, sliding into the booth. "Tell me everything." I did, watching her face darken as I described Peyton's theft and arrogance. "The worst part?" I finished. "His company's actually taking off. Look at this." I showed them SecureFlow's latest press release on my phone. "Revolutionary blockchain security solution," Ingrid read aloud, her eyes narrowing. "Wait, these protocols he's describing, they're remarkably similar to the ones we developed at CyberShield last year," I completed. "He didn't just steal my money, He's stolen proprietary technology. Dan whistled low. That's corporate espionage. And he's about to announce a major partnership next month, I added. Once that happens, he'll be untouchable, Ingrid finished. She leaned forward, her voice dropping. You need to be careful, Denise. Men like Peyton, when they feel threatened. My phone buzzed again. Harper. This time I answered. Where have you been? She demanded. Peyton says you stormed into his office making crazy accusations. I caught Dan and Ingrid exchanging glances. Harper, I started. He's working so hard on this company, she continued. If you're jealous of his success, I have to go. I cut her off, ending the call. My hands were shaking. Ingrid reached across the table, covering my trembling fingers with her steady ones. You know what we used to say in the intelligence community? The best revenge isn't served cold. It's served with irrefutable evidence. I looked up at her, seeing the glint of determination in her eyes that had made her legendary in our field. Tell me more, I said. Your sister can never know you're behind this, Ingrid said as we sat in her home office, surrounded by monitors displaying SecureFlow's internal communications. The moment this becomes personal, you lose the advantage. I've already identified 3 potential whistleblowers, Dan announced from his corner, including Rocky, Peyton's business partner. He's been asking questions about the source of their security protocols. A notification popped up on my screen. Another email from Harper. I closed it without reading. Look at this, I said, pointing to a string of code. Peyton didn't just steal the basic framework, he copied our entire vulnerability detection system, but he implemented it wrong. There's a massive security flaw he doesn't even know about. Ingrid leaned closer. Could you exploit it? Easily. But that's not the play. I pulled up another window. We need someone else to find it first. Someone with credibility. I might know someone, Dan said, reaching for his phone. Remember Gianna, the tech journalist who broke that cryptocurrency scandal last year? Before he could dial, my phone rang. Peyton's name flashed on the screen. Put it on speaker, Ingrid whispered. I answered. What do you want? Denise, just checking in on my favorite investor. His voice oozed confidence. Our Series A funding round just closed. We're valued at $50 million now. That 15% offer? It's worth a lot more today. Still not interested in your blood money, Peyton. Blood money? He laughed. Come on, you're still not upset about that little transfer, are you? Business requires bold moves. You'll understand once. Once what? Once you've stolen from enough people? Silence crackled over the line. When he spoke again, his voice was lower, harder. Be careful, Denise. You're starting to sound bitter. Harper's worried about you, you know. Says you're not yourself lately. Leave my sister out of this. She's my wife, and you're causing her stress. Maybe it's time you took a step back. For Harper's sake. The call ended. I looked up to see Ingrid and Dan watching me. He's trying to isolate you from Harper, Ingrid said softly. I know. I turned back to my computer, pulling up SecureFlow's employee directory. But he just confirmed something important. He's scared. How can you tell? Dan asked. He wouldn't have called otherwise. I clicked on Rocky's profile. And now we know exactly where to apply pressure. A new email popped up, from Rocky himself, sent to SecureFlow's legal team. Concerns regarding IP origin and implementation. I smiled. Perfect timing. Dan, call your journalist friend. Tell her I have a story she might be interested in. What's our next move? Ingrid asked. I cracked my knuckles, a plan already forming. We're going to give Rocky exactly what he's looking for. Proof. So let me get this straight, Gianna said, stirring her martini. Your brother-in-law stole your money, copied your tech, and now he's about to take his company public? We sat in a quiet corner of a downtown bar, far from SecureFlow's offices. I pushed a USB drive across the table. Everything you need is here. Financial records, code comparisons, internal emails, all legally obtained. She pocketed the drive. And you're willing to go on record? No names, I said firmly. Not yet, but I'll give you something better. a live demonstration of their security flaw. My phone buzzed. A text from Harper. Family dinner tomorrow. No excuses this time. Gianna noticed my expression. Complications? Nothing I can't handle. I looked up as Rocky entered the bar, right on schedule. Excuse me. I approached the bar where Rocky stood ordering a drink. His shoulders tensed as he recognized me. Denise? What are you doing here? Having a drink, same as you. I signaled the bartender. Make that two. Look, if this is about Peyton. It's about your concerns, I said quietly. The ones you expressed to legal about the IP origin? His face went pale. How did you? Because it's my IP he stole. I slid a business card across the bar. Check your secure email in an hour. You'll find proof. If this is true, Rocky gripped his glass tightly. We're weeks away from going public. I know. Terrible timing. Before he could respond, my phone lit up with a security alert. Someone was trying to breach my home network. Excuse me, I muttered, quickly typing commands on my phone. The attack was sophisticated, but sloppy. Definitely Peyton's work. Everything okay? Rocky asked. Perfect. I smiled, sending a trace program back through the breach attempt. Just some last-minute work. My phone buzzed again. Dan this time. Major problem. Peyton's hired outside help, professional hackers. I felt a chill. This was escalating faster than expected. Rocky, I said, turning back to him. One more thing. When things go public, remember, you came to legal with concerns. That makes you a whistleblower. Protection laws apply. He nodded slowly, understanding dawning in his eyes. Back at my table, Gianna was reviewing documents on her laptop. This is explosive, she whispered. But we need more, something undeniable. Tomorrow, I said, showing her Harper's text. Family dinner. Peyton always gets careless when he's showing off. You're going? Oh, yes. I smiled, thinking of the recording device in my pendant. Wouldn't miss it for the world. My phone lit up again. Another breach attempt. Peyton was getting desperate. Good. Desperate people make mistakes, and I was counting on a big one. Harper's dining room crackled with tension as we sat down to dinner. Peyton held court at the head of the table, champagne glass in hand. SecureFlow's valuation just hit $70 million, he announced. The tech blogs are calling us the next unicorn. Fascinating, I said, adjusting my pendant slightly. Tell us more about your revolutionary security protocols. Harper shot me a warning look, but Peyton took the bait. Proprietary technology, he boasted. Completely original. We're changing the entire cybersecurity landscape. Original? I sipped my wine. Like that vulnerability detection system you're so proud of? The room went quiet. Peyton's smile flickered. Careful, Denise, he said softly. You sound like you're implying something. Just making conversation. I turned to Harper. Did Peyton ever tell you where he got his startup capital? Don't, Harper warned. It's fine, honey, Peyton interjected. Your sister's just bitter because she missed out on a great investment opportunity. My phone buzzed. A text from Dan. They're trying to breach your work servers now. Getting aggressive. Investment implies choice, I said, setting down my phone. Tell me, Peyton, how many other investors did you hack? Harper's fork clattered against her plate. What are you talking about? Nothing, Peyton said quickly. She's just... Check your account, Harper, I said. The joint one. See if anything's missing. Harper pulled out her phone, her hands shaking. Peyton stood up abruptly. This dinner is over. Why? I asked innocently. Worried about what she'll find? I said enough. He slammed his hand on the table, making the glasses jump. You're delusional, Denise. Making wild accusations because you can't stand seeing someone else succeed. Peyton, Harper's voice was barely a whisper. There's a transfer, 300,000. I never authorized this. The color drained from his face. Harper, I can explain. To her? I stood up. Or to the SEC? Because those original protocols you're about to take public? They might have something to say about those too. Get out, he snarled. Get out of my house! Gladly. I headed for the door, then turned back. Oh, and Peyton? Those hackers you hired to attack my servers? Tell them to check their own security. Hate for them to get exposed. Harper called after me, but I was already gone. Outside, I sent a quick text to Gianna. Got it all on record, ready when you are. My phone lit up with a response from Dan. You need to see this. Rocky just sent over internal documents. It's worse than we thought. I smiled, starting my car. Peyton thought he was playing chess, but he'd just lost his queen. Tomorrow, the real game would begin. Check, I whispered to myself, pulling away from the house where my sister's world was about to shatter. The vultures are circling, Dan said, showing me the latest tech blog headlines. 3 major investors have pulled out since the rumors started. I scrolled through the articles on his tablet. SecureFlow's security protocols, original or stolen? Questions arise about tech unicorns' funding sources. My phone rang. Rocky. They're shredding documents, he said without preamble. Peyton's gone crazy. He's threatening everyone, saying he'll sue for breach of contract if anyone talks. Do you have proof of the shredding? Better. I have video. And something else. Financial records showing he didn't just steal from you. There are at least 6 other victims. Before I could respond, Harper burst into my office. I quickly ended the call. What did you do? She demanded. Mascara streaked down her face. Our investors are pulling out. Peyton's not sleeping. He says you're trying to destroy him. Did he tell you about the other people he stole from? I asked quietly. Or just about me? He said he borrowed. Borrowed? I pulled up the transfer records. Look at these, Harper. Really look. 6 people. Over $2 million. All taken without permission. She sank into a chair, hands trembling as she read. And the technology? She whispered. All stolen. From my company, from competitors. He's built SecureFlow on theft and lies. My computer pinged. An email from Gianna. Story goes live tomorrow. Last chance to back out. Harper saw it. What story? Before I could answer, Dan burst in. We've got a problem. Someone from inside SecureFlow is trying to wipe their servers. They're destroying evidence. Stop them, I ordered, fingers flying over my keyboard. Route everything through the backup we created. Already on it. Harper watched us work, her expression shifting from confusion to understanding. You've been planning this. Yes. To destroy my husband. To expose the truth, I corrected. Before he destroys more lives. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. The message made my blood freeze. Back off or the next hack won't just be aimed at your servers. People can get hurt in real life too. Dan saw it over my shoulder. That's a direct threat. We should call the police. No, I said, an idea forming. We have something better. I turned to Harper. Your phone, the one with the joint account. I need it. She hesitated, then handed it over. I quickly found what I was looking for. A message from Peyton, sent months ago, detailing exactly how he'd hack my accounts. Checkmate, I whispered. What are you going to do? Harper asked. I looked at my sister, seeing the pain and betrayal in her eyes. I'm going to give your husband exactly what he deserves. Consequences. The SecureFlow office was in chaos when I walked in. Employees huddled around their screens, watching Gianna's exposé spread like wildfire across every major tech news site. Your sister's here, Rocky announced, stepping out of Peyton's office. And she has proof of everything. Peyton sat behind his desk, tie loosened, hair disheveled. Multiple phones rang unanswered around him. Come to gloat? He snarled. I placed Harper's phone on his desk, the incriminating message displayed. Come to negotiate. There's nothing to negotiate. You've won. Happy? He gestured at the screens, showing SecureFlow's plummeting stock price. You've destroyed everything I built. Everything you stole, I corrected. And now you're going to make it right. Or what? You'll release that message? Go ahead. I've got nothing left to lose. Really? I pulled out a folder. The SEC might disagree. And those hackers you hired? They rolled over pretty quickly when Ingrid contacted them. Turns out they don't fancy federal prison. His face went ashen. What do you want? Full restitution to everyone you stole from, and a public confession about the stolen technology. That's corporate suicide. No, I said quietly. That's accountability. The door opened and Harper walked in, followed by two SEC agents. Harper? Peyton stood. What are you doing? The right thing, she said, her voice breaking. Finally. One of the agents stepped forward. Mr. O'Connor, we have some questions about your company's financial practices. Wait. Peyton held up his hands. I can explain everything. He turned to me. Name your price. Whatever you want. Just call them off. It's not about money anymore, I said. It's about consequences. Sign the confession. Pay back what you stole. Or let the SEC dig through every detail of your life. He stared at me for a long moment, then at Harper. Finally, he slumped in his chair. Fine, he whispered. You win. I slid the confession across his desk. As he signed, I noticed his hands shaking. The money will be returned by end of day, he said. All of it. Smart choice, I stood up. Oh, and Peyton, those threats about hurting people in real life? Bad move. The FBI takes those seriously. His eyes widened as an FBI agent entered the room. Outside, Harper caught up with me. I filed for divorce, she said quietly. I'm sorry. She shook her head. Don't be. You showed me who he really was. I just wish. She trailed off, tears forming. I hugged her tightly. I know. My phone buzzed. A message from Gianna. Follow-up story. Whistleblower sister exposes tech fraud? I looked at Harper, then typed back. No names. Some stories are better left in the shadows. The truth was, I'd gotten what I wanted. Justice had been served, cold and clean, just like Ingrid taught me. And that's why ethical practices in tech startups are crucial, I concluded, stepping away from the podium as applause filled the conference hall. Ingrid met me backstage, grinning. From cybersecurity consultant to keynote speaker at the biggest tech ethics conference. Not bad. Someone had to say it. I checked my phone. A message from Harper. Killed it, sis. Dinner tonight? How is she? Ingrid asked. Better. The divorce settlement came through last week. She's starting fresh. Dan appeared, laptop under his arm. Speaking of fresh starts, guess who just called? Rocky. His new security firm wants to partner with us. Legitimate partnership this time? I smiled. Complete with actual contracts and everything. My phone buzzed again. An unknown number. I almost deleted it until I saw the message. You were right. About everything. I'm sorry. P. Peyton? Ingrid asked, reading over my shoulder. First contact since the settlement. I showed them the next message. The mandatory ethics training is enlightening, if you're ever willing to talk. Are you? Dan asked. Before I could answer, Yana rushed up. Denise, the SEC just announced new regulations for tech startups, citing the Secure Flow case as a catalyst. They want you on the advisory board. I looked at the phone again, then at the faces around me. Ingrid's wisdom, Dan's loyalty, Gianna's determination. I thought about Harper, rebuilding her life with honest strength. Tell the SEC yes, I said. And Gianna? I think I'm ready to go on record. The full story. What changed your mind? I held up my phone. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's transformation. I typed a reply to Peyton. Coffee next week. Bring those ethics training notes. You're really going to meet him? Dan asked. Someone once told me justice comes with unexpected consequences. I said, glancing at Ingrid. Sometimes those consequences include second chances. My phone lit up with another message. A group text from Harper to both Peyton and me. Proud of you both. Ready for your next interview? Gianna asked, recorder in hand. The world wants to know, what's next for the woman who exposed Silicon Valley's darker side? I smiled, thinking of all the other Paytons out there, all the stolen dreams and corrupted innovations. What's next? I said. We keep fighting, we keep exposing, we keep transforming. Because in tech, just like in life, the code of ethics matters more than the code itself. Now that, Ingrid said, squeezing my shoulder, sounds like a story worth telling. And it was. Not just my story anymore, but everyone's who'd ever faced down corruption and chosen integrity instead. Sometimes the biggest victories come not from destroying your enemies, but from transforming the battlefield itself.